Elevation Nation, we are back for another Fortitude in 15. It is April 3rd. Wow. Time flies, man. How is it April already? It's crazy. My allergies are setting in. Do you have allergy problems?
No, I'm good. Feeling good. Weather's beautiful. I'm ready for our Fortitude in 15 topic of the day, Parker. I like this one. Go ahead.
Right. Let's just jump right into it. And I've brought this topic up many times before. I feel like this is part of elevating with mental fortitude. But today, we are talking about something that we all feel, and that is fear. And we want to talk about how the feeling of fear is a good sign, not necessarily a bad sign. And so, for me, this hits at home since, when it comes to elevating, pushing outside your comfort zone, fear is apparent all of the time, whether it be get on a stage, meet a new person we're having a podcast conversation with, giving a presentation, running a marathon, doing anything new. There's always fear. So I'm pumped to get into this topic. How you feel about that?
I mean, I just finished this book a couple weeks ago, Parker, and certainly am still embracing my own fears that I have as
What's the book,
young
by
adult.
the way?
Feel the fear and do it anyway. It's a book you recommended to me, and it's a book I rented from the library. Shout out DC Public Library. Actually walked to the library and got a book. But it was a great book. I think the concept in the episode today, if it scares you, that's the sign, is an interesting one. Because oftentimes we look at our fear as an avoidant, right? And I think that intuitively is in our DNA, right? As we have fight or flight in human beings, deep back in our ancestors, we were scared of things that caused death, caused injury. Now, in today's modern society, knock on wood, we still face those things, but less often are you coming across a bear in the woods, and more often you're coming across a boss yelling at you about something. And so although that is still a problem, it is not a life or death situation, yet our body and our brains struggle to differentiate between them. And so oftentimes now we feel that fear or something scares us, and we still run the opposite direction, when in fact, the fear and that scary feeling we feel now is actually pointing us towards something that's helping us grow.
I mean, I would hope so. I always think that if I'm like really nervous before something, I remember when I was younger, I would get really nervous, and this when I public speak. And it still happens. I still get nervous. Someone was texting me today. They're like, hey, do you get nervous for this? I'm like, yeah, that doesn't go away. You just learn how to deal with it. But I've always felt that if I'm not nervous, I don't care enough about it. If I'm not feeling the fear a little bit, how much do I actually care about it? To your point, I do think fear kind of puts us in the right direction. It allows us to feel like there's higher stakes at play. But man, I mean, it's still scary. I know you don't get as scared with public speaking, but I know you're scared.
I get scared of other things, man. Maybe not public speaking, but New York City scares me, right? The hustle and bustle and how many people are walking around, I feel like I'm on edge, and that I have to be super hyper focused and aware. So you still feel that fear. Is that a sign that you're growing, that you're uncomfortable? And is that a good thing?
It's human. And like your fears become like elevated as you continue to push through, right? Like the first speaking engagement that we did, I was very fearful, but it was in front of 10 high school kids, right? I got over that. But then the new fear came. It was like, okay, now we're speaking in 40 high school kids. And then, it grows with you. And over time, it definitely subsides, but there's always new fears that come. I'm curious, like, could you give us a little bit more of an example for you, Sam, where you faced a lot of fear, maybe not particularly walking in New York City, but maybe a fear that you faced recently in your personal life or at work, and what did you do to get over that? Because I think everyone gets through it in a different way.
I mean, I guess the most recent fear that comes to mind was my first time trying a totally new sport or hobby, and that's boxing, something that I talk about a fair amount, right? Parker had just finished running the marathon and was continuing to pressure me on, dude, what are you doing to Go outside your comfort zone. What are you doing to change things up? You should run a marathon. And I watched the show Suits, Parker. I'm not sure if you've watched that one, but in it, there's a character named Harvey Specter, and he boxes. He goes to a boxing gym, and he's the most badass lawyer in New York City. And I always remember thinking, I want to try boxing. That looks so cool. What an incredible skill. You look like such a baller. And I never did it. Never did it when I lived in New York. Did it a couple times, starting in DC, but never consistently. And then I found a gym right near me and decided, you know what, I'm just going to sign up and do it and commit to at least a month. And I remember those first couple classes, I'm like a relatively athletic kid who played a lot of sports growing up, and there are super unathletic people in my class with me who are just crushing it. And I'm horrible. My footwork's all wrong. My cadence is off. They scream out a combination at the end of class. 1, 1, 3, 4, 2, duck, uppercut, right hook, right? I can't remember anything. I'm so nervous. I just get punched in the face. But over time and time again, continuing to have that exposure therapy, I'm now the one demoing things in class. I'm the one sparring and punching people, right? I have a whole new appreciation for this sport, this new hobby that I was able to pick up. And so I think I saw that fear, and in order to overcome that fear, I just needed to continue to expose myself to it until it became comfortable and until it became not a fear anymore.
What's your new fear now with boxing? Is there any? Is it maybe going up against your coach, or is it like...
I don't... No, it's not my coach, because my coach knows that he knows he's a professional boxer. So, he takes it easy on me. It's the kid that you don't know who they are.
Like
that
you get put in the gym.
That's the scariest part. Yeah, it's like, it's a bunch of testosterone-driven dudes, and people are coming in trying to flex on people, and might be their first time at this gym. They go to another location, right? And you have no idea if someone's good or bad, what weight class they're even in. Like, that's the scary part. Fighting my coach, I know I'm going to get my ass kicked, but I know I'm not going to get knocked out. When you fight someone that you don't know, you're walking into a whole world that you don't even know what to expect. That's the scary one. What about you?
I can't imagine. I've never done that. I mean, I want to talk a little bit more because I think it resonates perfectly with what we're doing tomorrow. And, we're speaking at a conference in New Orleans, and it's in front of more people that we've ever speaked in front of before. But obviously I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm anxious, I'm fearful, I'm elevated to do this, and I think it's going to be amazing. But I think public speaking for me has always been a challenge, and it's not because I don't think I'm not good at it. It's just there's like a wire within me that when this happens and I get the microphone in front of me, in front of other people, I get a little nervous. Sometimes I get really nervous, and it becomes very fearful. And what's really funny is like reflecting on all the public speaking that we've done. Before we started Elevation Nation, the public speaking I did, high school, college, every time it's done, and the book talks about this, you end up so much better off than where you were before, regardless of how good or bad that you think you did. And reading this book really did change my life how I approached a lot of my public speaking, because it talks about how we're like our own worst enemies when it comes to fear. We're all in our head. No one's saying, Parker, you can't do it. Parker, you're going to suck. What you're going to say is not going to resonate. You got to go through the motions and get up there and do it. And regardless of how you think you did, it always is a consistent reminder to me, Sam, that when I'm done, you know how jacked up I am, how excited I get. And it's not because it's over. It's because you just feel some sense of relief that, wow, like I can do this and I can get over it and I can do it again and again. And so I think what the beautiful thing about fear is that we try to avoid it. We try to get through it. But it's all painted in our own head, when in reality, there isn't a bear coming to attack us. Maybe in your case, there's a stronger dude trying to punch your face off. But for me, again, in front of a 1,500 people with a microphone, yeah, it's scary. But man, do I feel alive. Do I feel elevated? Do I feel excited? When that's done, I'm like, hell yes. And so I'm going to give you 3 practical insights from my takeaways from this book, and hopefully you had more takeaways, Elevation Nation, from this conversation. But first, the only way to get rid of the fear of doing something is you got to go out and do it, right? Sam had to go get punched in the face to get over his fear of getting punched in the face. I had to get in front of a massive crowd to get over that fear. The second is action shrinks fear. Back to the first one. Waiting feeds it. Action shrinks fear, and waiting feeds it. If you never approach it, how are you going to get through it? And I think what this book also says is you're never going to be 100% ready, and that is okay. No one is 100% ready, because the idea of what you think is of ready is all made up in your head. You have to prepare. You have to go through the motions. But when the moment is there, you just got to do it, because you'll never 100% be perfect. Because if you're trying to get 100%, you're never going to get there, because there is no perfect.
Our elevator spotlight today. Someone who feels that fear, does it anyway, might be feeling a bit scared, but continues time and time again to challenge themselves. It's elevator 183, Benjamin Wasserman. Ben has been consistently creating content, posting on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, nonstop, growing his own personal platform, his own brand. He was petrified to start, but now he does it. It's second nature. It's like breathing. Ben is continuing to post, continuing to build his business, step outside of his comfort zone, and we're proud of you, Ben. Well done.
And what's great about what Ben is he's a perfect example of how, consistently doing things that make you fearful or challenging, like whether it be posting on an Instagram or social media, it translates into other aspects of life too. When you get over a fear, you can then utilize, you're building that mental fortitude, you're building that foundation for yourself to go, you know what? Ben might go out and try to reach out to someone that he's never reached out to, or have a meeting with someone that might be a little scary to him. And things like that translate all of the time. And I think we've seen not only in Ben, Sam, but also so many of the 200 plus elevators we've welcomed to Elevation Nation there's a consistent theme. These people utilize their mindset to push themselves outside of their comfort zone, because they know elevating does not happen inside the comfort zone. The comfort zone is nice and cozy, but the fear is waiting outside. And most of these elevators, they're pushing towards that fear instead of reverting course away from it. And you know what, Sam? You and I look back and like, damn, a lot of these people are freaking successful, whether it's in business, whether it is in their sport, their hobby, they're accomplishing their goals. And so that is a consistent theme and lesson that I've learned along this whole journey. Not just Ben.
Feel that fear. Elevation Nation, I challenge you all. Go out, do something that maybe you're a little fearful of. Start small. You don't have to go get punched in the face. Maybe just go sign up for a boxing class, right? Do one small step towards that fear. Shoot us a comment, shoot us a DM. Let us know what that is. We want to be your accountability partner in this. One of mine that I'm going to be working on in the next month that I've never done before. I know this sounds crazy. I've never gone to a nice dinner alone and stayed off my phone. I think it's going to make me uncomfortable, and I think I'm going to be pretty fearful of it. But I'm going to try to do that. So I'll report back in a couple weeks, let you know how it is. Elevation Nation, happy Fortitude and 15 Thursday. Keep on elevating your mindset. Until next week, peace.